Hi, Angel Network. Hello, my loves. How is everyone? I pray all is well. I wanted to just go over some housekeeping things, and that is we are rocking it out. We are 60%, um, 60% to almost 100 followers already, which I'm over the moon about. I am so excited. My heart is bursting. I wanted to just thank everybody for your support, for liking the post, for commenting, for supporting me in the community, for supporting us in the community. Thank you so much. Um, I wanted to just let you know that the videos are also uploaded on YouTube on my channel, which I hope to eventually, officially change it to another name. But for now, it's under RKI space I. So it's RKI, there's a little space, and then lowercase I, all lowercase. So all of the videos that you're interested in seeing that are uploaded on the Angel Network page on Facebook are also going to be uploaded on YouTube. So for those of you that say, hey, I don't have social media and a social media account, I'm no longer on social media, you could plug in RKI and access the videos. So my first sermon is on there. The first video where I talk about my journey and I talk about, how I even started this. The first video, God's Promises and the Power of Yet, that's on there. And this video will be on there as well. So check it out. Okay. All right. So I wanted to follow up on a post that I put on our page from October 17th. And that post was regarding a topic that is near and dear to my heart, which is mental health. And my little blurb on that was, being an advocate for ourselves is extremely important, especially around, our mental health and making sure that we get the care that we need. So there were two posts that I put that day on October 17th. And the first one was, I'm not always as okay as I pretend to be. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. And the second one was going to a counselor or therapist when you're feeling sad or overwhelmed should be as normal as going to the doctor when you have the flu, or when you're sick. Basically, that's what that quote was about. And then it said, let's end the stigma about mental health. And I believe in my little blurb I said, can you help me? Let's end the stigma together. So I wanted to talk to you about it a little bit, and talk about what that looks like for us, and what's really happening around mental health in our community, because I think that a lot of times we see it, we feel it, it's happening, but even in 2019 we are brushing mental health under the rug, and there's still some stigma attached to that. So, life challenges arise, right? And while life is going on, we have work, we have relationships, we have responsibilities as adults, taking care of our children, the demands of a career, the dynamics of different relationships, and whatever may come out of those relationships. All of those things can pull on us. And sometimes something happens that triggers and that knocks us off our square. So it can trigger anxiety, It can trigger panic, worry, depression. All those stressors can come up for us. And sometimes we are not really equipped to deal with that when it comes up. So, what do we do? How do we deal with that? And I think that normally, you know, a lot of us don't really have the tools or the know-how, if you will, to really deal. So culturally, I will say, and I'm going to speak for myself, I'm going to speak for a brown girl, if you don't mind for a minute. Culturally, we've been taught to be strong. And, we've been taught to, pull up our bootstraps and put on those big girl panties and, you know, deal, kind of deal with it. And also, like, let's go to let's go to church. You're gonna get you some Jesus and you're gonna be okay. And I love the Lord. Y'all know that. I am in love with Jesus, and He is the sweetest thing that I've ever known. And I'm so glad that He's in my life. He's at the center of my life. What I also know is that God has placed experts on earth to help us to navigate our way through through these issues when they come about, to help us to get to a place of recovery and being able to manage our lives in a healthy way. So I wanted to talk to you about this and to have to at least share with you a little bit about, what kinds of questions are we asking ourselves when these stressors come about in our lives. Okay? So sometimes when this stuff happens, we say to ourselves, you know what? I'm not going to ask anybody for help. I got it. I'm not going to ask anybody. You know what? I can handle this. I'm fine. And really, our fine is frantic. We're irrational. We're freaking out. We're really not okay. I'm not as okay as I pretend to be. Okay. So what happens then when we're not okay as we pretend to be? Our body begins to react. And stress may manifest itself in some different ways. So that may manifest itself in as health issues. During this time, we're not talking to people. During this time, you can have stressors that come up for you, and the health issues start to arise, and we're maybe masking that and not sharing it and going through it once again, thinking that we are all alone. And I want to encourage you, from someone who has dealt with thinking that I was alone and thinking that I needed to just push my way through, that you're not. And it's so important to get the care that you need as soon as you're starting to not be okay. So the isolation starts to begin. And that isolation and the stressors all take a toll on you. And so it's almost like this domino effect where you have the anxiety, the panic, the anxiety, then that worry. They're kind of all tied together. And perhaps things aren't going so great at work, then you're not feeling so good. So then here comes that dark cloud of depression that's over you. and things start to get a little dark. And then that isolation starts, and you believe that instead of talking to someone, you're a burden, and you're making decisions for other people who want to be there for you, but you haven't even given them the opportunity to do so. So instead of reaching out, you're saying, nope, I got it. I'm just going to deal with this on my own and I'll be fine. Because in that moment, how are we really doing? We're not okay. You see, in those moments, it takes strength to be vulnerable. We think that being vulnerable is a weakness, but I want to encourage you that vulnerability takes courage, because you are actually facing the beast. You are facing the very thing that is trying to attack you, the very obstacle that is pulling you down and weighing you down. And you're saying, you know what? I got to talk to somebody about this. I got to grab hold of this and I need to address it. That's the grown-up thing to do. That is courageous when you face the beast. Yep, it is. Okay, so I want to talk to you about my personal experience. My personal experience is, yes, I had a career, a teaching career of 18 years, and I had to make an executive decision to choose me. And I like in my decision, I love my scholars. I love my babies. I love them. I loved mentoring new teachers. I loved professional development. I loved light bulb moments with my adult learners who were also my colleagues and my fellow teachers. Loved it. Things changed in my life dramatically when my father transitioned to heaven October 19th. So here we are in that same time of year, 2011. And then we actually had to have his services right on my birthday, which my birthday is coming up on Friday, the 25th. God will give you strength that you didn't know that you had in order to get through some of the most trying moments of your life. At the same time, there comes a point where you have to process those challenges because they still do have an impact. Okay, let's move forward just a little bit. My life continued with teaching, doing all the things that I did, but there was still, of course, that very difficult void of my father is no longer here. Yes, I have my siblings. Yes, I have my mother. But shortly after my father's transition, my mother became very ill. And so her care also became very much involved, and she needed us. I am one of four. She needed us more. So when it comes to family, if you are a person like me, family comes first, and God comes first, and family, and and if you don't realize, and I need to correct that though, so let me fix that. You should be first. Because if you don't put yourself first, you cannot take care of anybody else. So you can't put your family first. So you see how I still have to practice it? I do, Angel Network. I still have to practice it. God is first because he gives you the strength, and then you come first. So You have to take care of yourself. And somewhere along the way, I wasn't getting the memo. And so everything was becoming very, very, very difficult for me. And I had to make an executive decision for my life. So I use the analogy of, hopefully you never have this experience, going to the Mac machine or the ATM, and you go to put your card in and the screen pops up and says insufficient funds. Hopefully that never happens to you. I say to people that say, did you love teaching? Absolutely, I love teaching. But at a certain point in time, my screen read, not only did it read insufficient funds, I didn't get my card back. There was no more funding left for me to replenish myself. I no longer knew how to fill my cup back up. So that's how the Angel Network was born. My close-knit friends were the type of people who were patient, they were non-judgmental, and they were poised in the face of crisis. You know, when I needed to pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm not okay, they knew to have clarity around decision making, which was they did not hit the panic button. They knew how to listen. They knew how to be level-headed. So I want you to keep that in mind as we continue. Okay? All right. So now, moving forward, I had to surround myself with a supportive group. And that supportive group is what I want to ask you about. And I want to just encourage you to decide, who will those people be in your life if you get to a point where you say, you know what, I'm not okay. I want to ask you, can you identify 3 to 5 people who will be your support system? Who will your angel network be? Your close-knit angel network. Who will they be? If you can identify them, I'd like for you to some kind of way identify them in your contact list on your phone. Figure out a way that they are clearly identified for you, so that you know who they are for you. And what does that support really look like? What do you want it to look like? Okay. Now, the last thing that I want to go over with you is that I had to remind myself of the following scripture. You know, when these things happen, and when panic, anxiety, when these things set in, it can give you a terrifying feeling of, my world is coming to an end. But I want to remind you of the scripture that God has not given us a spirit of fear. He's given us one of power and love and of a sound mind. I had to keep reminding myself of that, and I wanted to share that with you. You know, because He's always with us, and He wants the very best for us. He does not want us to live in a state of panic and worry. He wants us to be okay. So I want to share a resource with you. And there is a resource, an app called Not Okay. It's called the Not Okay app. Guess what? This app was made by two teen entrepreneurs. So they call them teenpreneurs. Isn't that cute? That's so cool. Hannah and Charlie Lucas. Charlie was 13, and Hannah and Charlie, brother and sister, they had a bit of a dark time, and they wanted to figure out a way that they could create an app that would reach out to or contact their loved ones or friends to just alert them and say, hey, I'm not okay. So they designed an app that they could just press a button and it connects to their designees, and it lets the designee know, hey, check on Hannah and see what's going on. It gives them the GPS location and lets them know exactly where they are. It is a very cool app, and it's something that I just wanted to share with you all. So I'm going to put the link in the description of this video to just share with everybody. So I just wanted to, go over that with you all, and just to let you know that we have to begin to have these conversations, because there's a lot going on in our communities, and we are not talking about it, as if there's still this, no, shh, don't say anything, she has issues. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, so that we can get the support in place for everybody, so that we have coping skills and we have strategies to address what's going on, and people can begin to live healthy, balanced lives. Okay? All right, so in the description, I'm going to put, if you go to the Play Store, you can just put in Not Okay app, and it'll pop right up. You can log in, you can put your information. They'll send you a code, and it'll just walk you through what to do. It's pretty cool. So I wanted to just reach out to you all and let you know I love you. I'm praying for you, and let's end the stigma together. All right? Okay, Angel Network. I will see you soon. I'll see you in the network. Subscribe to RKI on YouTube, and keep commenting, keep liking, share with your friends, share with your family, and I'll see you in the network. Love you. Bye. Mwah.